Hi families, welcome. Thank you for joining me. This is the video for families with children who are in 3rd through 5th grade. We're going to be talking a little bit about our book, Made for Greatness. This is the mindset journal that you should have at home and should be working on right now. And inside the front cover is our schedule, and this is the schedule. If you're a little bit off track, that's all right. There's plenty of time to catch up. We're going to be looking at 2 to 3 pages per week. So if you are a little bit behind, it's very easy to catch up. I do have a couple of my kids here with me. They're off camera, and we're just going to be talking a little bit about the book together and what they've gotten out of it so far. So Gavin and McKenna, thank you for joining me. Do you guys enjoy the book so far?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you guys like about the book? Gavin, what do you like about it? Yeah, tells you about new things. McKenna, what do you like about it? You just like doing it? What was the first chapter about? What did you guys learn about?
Prudence.
Yeah, prudence, the virtue of prudence. So before we jump into talking about the virtue of prudence, I just want to show you in the book where we have our virtues chart. So right before the beginning of the book is a little chart for virtues. And so on there, it has a blank space for you to fill out the virtues that you learn about. So our first one that we learned about, as Gavin told us, was prudence. Gavin, which one is prudence?
Find the good in every situation.
Yeah, find the good in every situation. So we find where it says, find the good in every situation, and we can write prudence right in that spot. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Write prudence right in our virtues chart. So right there. All right, so our first chapter that we've been learning about this week is prudence. And so as you can see, there's a coloring sheet that is glued in the inside of the beginning of the chapter. This is something you can color. It has a Catechism of the Catholic Church reference right there. Parents, that's a great opportunity to kind of expound on this virtue. And then every day, there is a couple of pages to read. So, for instance, November 15th, our schedule says to read and reflect on pages 8 through 10. Now, Gavin and McKenna, which saint did you guys learn about in relation to this virtue? Saint Therese of Lisieux. McKenna, what did you learn about Saint Therese? Gavin, what did you learn about Saint Therese? She had prudence. How? Caring for others, especially the poor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's also some times that you could stop and reflect and journal in your guys' journal, especially in relation to Saint Therese. So Saint Therese did everything in her power to avoid revealing her irritation with her fellow sister. What might have been an easier way out? McKenna, what would have been an easier way out than revealing her irritation with her sisters? Yeah, that was the hard way out, right? That was the prudent way out. What would have been the easier way out? Yeah, irritating your sister's back. Exactly. We all know from experience that that's the easiest way out, isn't it? But St. Therese taught us that she would hide her irritation, right? And be nice, even if it was hard to do. So that's kind of some fun things about this journal, that you get to learn about different saints, you get to read different quotes, and you get to journal some of your own life experience in here. So we learned about prudence. Parents, I sent out a flock note, which you got the link for this video in, and in that flock note are some different resources. One of them is a study. It's called Virtues and Saints. So if you wanted to dive a little bit deeper into each of the virtues, there's these little miniature studies in them. And you can look at, there's some different reflection questions, there's some scripture reflections, some catechism reflections. So if diving into the virtues a little bit deeper with your students or with your children is something you're interested in, then this is available for download within that flock note. Now our next chapter that we're going to be looking at, so if we look at our schedule, we're going to be starting on page 13, and we're going to be looking at our next virtue. And that next virtue is temperance. So one thing available for download is another one of these coloring sheets, just like we have for prudence. And so it's just the right size so that you can glue it right into that first page of your chapter. Again, you can color on it if you'd like. You can reflect on some of the quotes. And it has our catechism reference right here so that you can look up temperance in the catechism. All the information is right there. Again, I also have one of these Virtues and Saints downloadable mini studies so that if you wanted to dive a little bit deeper as a family into that virtue, you are welcome to do that. Now, McKenna, if we look back at our virtue chart at the beginning of our book, which one is temperance? Can you read that to me?
To balance our use of created things.
To balance our use of created things. So we're going to find that on our chart, and we're going to write it in. And so as we go through our book, by the end of the book, we will have our entire virtues chart filled out. So this next month, you'll be reflecting on temperance. And go ahead and use that schedule at the beginning of your book to stay on track. Families, I've already told you about one extension that you can do with your children if that's something you're interested in. It's a free downloadable. Another one that I have that I really enjoy, it's from Blessed is She, and it's called Rise Up. And this is just a little bit of an extension. So for instance, here's the prudence chapter on prudence. There are some further scripture reflections, some different stories about saints, some beautiful quotes from saints, some think about it, some prayers that you can do. So if you're looking for another extension to virtues, this is a great book. It's available on Blessed is She or Amazon. I will also put the link in that flock note that has come to you. So our base for 3rd through 5th graders is going through this this Made for Greatness journal. And then I've included a free extension and an extension that you can purchase. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. My email is in the flock note. If you have any questions, go ahead and email me those questions. Thank you for being patient through all this COVID and our lack of ability to meet in person. My hope is that, after the new year or whenever COVID restrictions lift, that we can start getting our 3rd through 5th graders together and they can start going through some questions, maybe sharing some of their reflections in small groups so that they're building that community. So thank you very much. I hope you guys are enjoying your journal. I know that we are really enjoying it. My children are really enjoying it. And we will see you on Tuesday for PC at Home.